All right, we are on YouTube. Let me post this down. And then... Wait,
Hello?
there we are.
Are we up now?
Yep, now
We're
we're
good. People of the world.
So yeah, we had a little. Sorry for the delay. Facebook Live was being cantankerous and not
Good word.
cantankerous.
That's
Yeah, I
a
like
good
that
word.
word. Yeah, we had to do a bunch of crap just to get Facebook going.
Don't forget to hit the record button.
You know, we haven't started yet.
Okay.
So, all right, now we ready to start?
Yep.
All right, that's it. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Gather the Nerds, episode 86. I am Cav. That's Nick.
What's up?
We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook right now. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Sorry for the delay. Facebook Live was being cantankerous, as
Good
I
word.
said earlier.
Good word.
It was not cooperating as technology often does when you're running on a bit of a schedule. But that's okay. So that's why you have tech people.
That's right.
So we've got a few things going on, a lot going on in the DC world today. Some things from Marvel, just more war backing up piles and piles and piles of cash. This time coming from China.
Such a problem.
Oh yeah, such a terrible problem. Like, oh man, I have so much money. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of this.
Yeah, that's true.
Some stuff. This is the time when network upfronts happen, and so you have a bunch of shows getting canceled and some stuff getting renewed, and the inevitable fan outcry when their favorite show gets canceled. And one show is actually saved this week, which is actually pretty cool. We'll talk about that. Some Star Wars news, some gaming news, which is a little interesting considering what we talked about last week. But, it is what it is. Where would you like to start this week?
Let's start with DC. Let's start in your ballpark.
All right, let's go with DC. Rumor in DC world, and this makes me very unhappy, is that Warner Brothers is highly considering scrapping the Flashpoint movie completely, and basically just moving on from it because the new head of DC, or Warner Brothers Entertainment, people who are doing the DC movies, he's not interested in using anything to go back and erase anything. Like retconning is the common term, and doing any of that stuff. They just want to move on. And that could also mean, because there was talk that, Ben Affleck was going to leave Batman and Flashpoint would be the last time you'd see him. But apparently the new head of WB Entertainment, his opinion is if he's moving on, let's just move on. And let's not worry about it. And let's not do Flashpoint. So no more Batfleck. Let's just move on, which I think is dumb, considering how awesome Flashpoint could be.
Sure. Because a lot of stuff happens in Flashpoint. I mean,
a ton of stuff happens in Flashpoint, and you can really, they've introduced the multiverse already, sort of, in the Justice League movie, but this could be a real, in-depth look at the multiverse for DC, and with what DC is doing in comics right now, which we're going to talk about next week, because I don't think we just have time to get to it all.
Right.
Introduction to the multiverse is a good thing.
True.
So
very true.
if we had any, if we thought that Flashpoint or Flash movie was going to come anytime soon, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, we talked about Flashpoint whenever it occurred in the series, and it was such a pivotal moment for that series, and it was a game changer. So to see how that same event affects the entire DCU, such as the Justice League, I mean, that would be awesome. That would be very cool because we've already kind of seen it from, Barry Allen's point of view.
Yeah.
Through the series, and obviously, if you're a fan of the comics, you've read that. But I don't know. I think it would be worth exploring.
I do too. I think it's smart to do that, and because the thing is, if Justice League didn't get DC fans all that excited, you've got to do something.
True.
And, if you think about it, the only things that you could really think about would be Crisis on Infinite Earths, but that doesn't necessarily work unless you've really explained the multiverse. And you don't want to waste an hour in a movie explaining the multiverse for somebody who doesn't watch Flash.
It's true.
So do it in
It's true.
Flashpoint.
Or doesn't read Flash.
Yeah, so do it
Yeah.
in Flashpoint. I mean,
I think so. Because then you get the expanse of the universe. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes the most sense.
I agree.
It's very similar to how Marvel's kind of done all of their separate movies to then bring it all together.
Yeah.
You know?
There's threads that tie them all together. Yeah.
And I think it's important for DC to kind of latch onto that if they're going to have sustainability in live action movies.
I agree. I don't know. I think this is a big mistake unless they plan on saving Flashpoint for something, but I just don't think that's the right move right now. But, you know.
I guess it depends on, where they go from Justice League at this point.
Yeah.
Like what the overall plan is. Are they just going to pick up another movie right where the other one left off or what? Because obviously you could do several more Justice League movies before you got to Flashpoint.
That's true.
I don't know that that's going to be beneficial for Flashpoint, but at the same rate,
you're
you
going to have a
definitely
different
could.
Flash at that point.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see, but I agree. I don't believe that this is the best move for DC right now, but maybe we're both wrong.
Maybe.
These people get paid a whole lot more money than we do to analyze all these decisions.
That's true. Did I do the intro? Did I intro us, Kevin? Nick?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I'm so used to doing this now. It doesn't even commit itself to my memory.
That's hilarious.
So before we do,
You got that automaticity. There's another good word.
Is that really?
That's a real word.
Have you ever used it in Scrabble? Is that like a 97-point word?
It better be, because I don't know how to spell it.
Like I want a triple word score, a double word score. This is a triple letter score.
Yeah, it's an educational word. We use it. We use it often. Automaticity.
Before we go any further, though, because you'll see this, you'll hear this tomorrow, unless you're watching live right now. Happy Mother's Day to everybody and
all the moms out there.
All the moms of human babies and fur babies and all those other things out there.
What other kind of babies are there? Because there's fur babies, there's human babies.
Plant babies?
Okay.
So,
your baby could be your garden, I suppose.
That's true. So your garden,
yeah.
your pets,
car, maybe even.
your humans, car, yeah.
You could have a car baby. Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. Either way, if you are a mama, and
if you feel you're responsible for any sort of object,
and you define yourself as a mother of that object,
that's true.
We got you. Happy Mother's Day,
everybody. So, yeah, that's gonna. It's always. I was looking for like a list of like top superhero mothers, and then so you get things like Aunt May from Spider-Man and Martha Kent. You also get Martha Wayne, but she doesn't last very long.
No.
A few others out there as well. But
why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name? Dawn of Martha.
That's like the one part of that movie that sticks completely out of my head.
Speaking of Superman, DC has released the trailer for the Death of Superman animated movie. Looks pretty stellar. I'm pretty stoked about that.
It's interesting that now they would release that, considering that that's an older book. I mean, we were in high school when that came out.
Well, this is a second go round for this particular story in DC animated.
Yeah, right on.
Now, the trailer said it was PG-13. I know there were some earlier rumors that it may be a rated R animated film.
Okay.
Which, given the context, could be pretty cool. But it's going to be a 2-part series. So just like DC Animated did Dark Knight Returns in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2, they're going to do Death of Superman, Return of Superman in 2 separate parts.
That could work.
And so I think they'll probably release like 6 months apart. Now, here's the thing. I buy all the DC animated movies. Like, I love those movies. It reminds me, I need to get Batman Ninja. It's on Blu-ray this week. Have
you watched it yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
I've heard it's pretty cool.
I cannot wait to see it. But inevitably, what they will do is they will release Superman Part 1, and then they'll release Part 2 6 months later, and then a couple months after that, they'll release like it all on 1 disc and not 2. And so trying to get you to double
pulling the Star
dip.
Wars move there.
The double dip. So I'm going to see if I can hold on and not buy the initial one, but yeah, we'll see if that actually occurs.
I'll tell you right now, if they were to release all 7 movies at this point on VHS, I would buy them.
On VHS.
Just because.
Betamax.
Yeah, just to have them, just to say that I had them.
Yep. So in the live action DC world, Gotham, we were talking about the series that are on bubbles here or there. Gotham is heavily on the bubble,
which is interesting.
Season 5.
It's interesting to me.
It is. It's kind of lost its way a little bit. Like, I've never been behind on Gotham, but I am so behind on Gotham right now.
What season are they on now?
4, 5, 4.
I think I'm a whole season behind, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm way behind.
So, yeah, I just can't. I don't know. Like I don't know. I had some issues with the storylines this year. There's a particular storyline where young Bruce Wayne is just this absolutely sufferable little snot, and it drives me crazy. Like,
Well,
here's
he's a
the
teenager now.
Well, here's the thing. Good on the actor David Masoos, who plays it so well. It's like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. I just can't stand him. Like, I just can't do it. And
Yeah, Joffrey's pretty hard to get along with.
So, hey, my mom's watching. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Nita.
Happy Mother's Day. So we are. So yeah, I just can't stand him, and that is, it becomes an issue. But some of the stories they're doing a Joker-esque story. They've said it is not the Joker, even though like it clearly is. But they're saying
Is
it's
it Jerome?
not. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
Because
I mean,
it's interesting, but
I think I'm the season where he comes back to life. I'm behind on
Gotcha.
that season. So is that the one before?
I think you're in the right season.
Okay.
But then they also, I mean, the series or the source material they're working out of right now is No Man's Land, which is a pretty iconic book, or a kind of an iconic run in the Batman universe. The title of this week's episode was One Bad Day, which is straight out of The Killing Joke.
Okay.
Talking about how one bad day can change everything.
Kind of the Red Hood thing. Okay.
And so we can.
Well, I guess I would be Red Hood, in a way.
It's not that way. No, it is straight up Joker like what they're doing.
But what I'm saying is that's how the Joker became the Joker.
Yes,
is the one bad day.
Yeah, one bad day. So it's pretty interesting. But they said what is actually teetering Gotham one way or the other is what happens with Lethal Weapon on Fox,
which is interesting to me.
Well, here's the interesting part. So Fox bought or has the rights to Thursday Night Football. And so they had to clear out a bunch of space for Thursday Night Football. So they canceled a bunch of things, including one show we'll get into a little bit later. But so Lethal Weapon, they fired the actor that was playing Riggs for basically just being a pain to work with, like, which is really unusual. Like, you're going to fire lead act. They can't get rid of Riggs. So they fired that actor. And whether or not they find somebody new to play Riggs, if they don't, they're canceling Lethal Weapon. And
Mel
Gotham
Gibson.
is probably and Gotham is probably safe.
Okay.
But if they don't, there's no telling what's going to happen to Gotham. Now, one of the other series that got canceled, and I'm not 100% caught up to it, but the series is really entertaining, is the TV series Lucifer, which is based on a Vertigo book, which is a DC company. And so they canceled Lucifer. Then hashtag Save Lucifer became this trending thing on Twitter. Can you imagine?
Of course it did.
Of course it did.
Of course
right?
it did.
And for who knows if all the hashtag Save Lucifer was for that, but it's for the TV show.
Somebody got excited and was like, "Oh yeah!"
But some people were talking about the perfect place for that for that series is to go to the DC streaming service.
True.
Gives you a couple of live actions day one, because you're talking about Titans is live action, Swamp Thing is live action, but is still in development. Harley Quinn and the other series are animated. They've confirmed that, and so they're talking about why not grab Lucifer, based on the books, sort of, and get a and put it on the service. I mean, you've got the rights to it. Why not?
True.
Like, it makes sense.
When are they expected to launch their service?
It's supposed to be later this year, so probably fall.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good way to do that, especially in fall. You know, that's when TV shows kind of renew. And
what's interesting is that the series, the showrunner or the writer says, "We're really sorry. Season 3 of Lucifer ends on a giant cliffhanger."
And then it might be canceled.
It'll
be a total Lost moment.
No, Lost didn't end on cliffhanger.
Oh, I thought it did. I thought that's why everybody was upset about
No,
Lost.
they just didn't like the ending.
Oh, okay.
But it went... so conceivably, the same thing could be done for Gotham. If you think about it, take Gotham to the DC streaming service. like gives you the ability to, one, you could play a darker, grittier Gotham City. You could do a lot of things with it. And gives you kind of a fresh break from Fox if you wanted to reboot and retool a few things. So, I don't know. I think it could be interesting to see if they, if they go forward and do some things. So, hey, Jennifer, my brother's wife, has joined. Hi,
cool.
Jennifer.
Hello.
Happy Mother's Day. A day early. So, it's
better than a day late.
It's better than a day late. That's true. So we, it's going to be something to watch because now that all of these services are major players, when things started to get canceled, people were like, oh, it could go to Hulu. Oh, Netflix could pick it up. Oh, this. Like, there was that huge thing when Agent Carter got canceled that, oh, Netflix should go get it. Make it a Netflix series. That never happened. But now it's not like you just don't have to send a particular, it's not just network TV and cable anymore that you can, that are required to give you a home for your TV show.
Sure.
So, but I will tell you, they've if Gotham gets another season, they've got to fix it. Like, there's some things that are just wrong with it right now.
Well, you kind of expected that to happen because they're telling Batman's story from a child's perspective, in a way. And you're not seeing full on Batman because he's a kid, versus all the other Batman stuff that we've seen. Batman's a grown man.
Yeah, and you see the main rogues gallery exists now, with the exception of a few. And Bruce Wayne is still younger. So, but in Batman lore, Batman is a response to those things. Like
they've existed long enough that he's responding.
But the thing is, in the Batman story, he goes away, he gets trained by all of these masters and all of these things. They can't really do that
right now.
Yeah. Now he's old enough now. I think in the series, he's probably 17, 18.
Really?
Yeah, he's older. Well, the thing is,
for the character.
Yeah, well, they're having to keep up with
because he's what, 16 now?
He's probably 17 or 18. 16, maybe that's the thing is
he just has a young face.
He does. So,
of course I do too if I shave. So
that's why I don't.
Yeah, same exact reason. I look 12.
We've talked about another DC properties that are happening. The Birds of Prey movie has gone up and down and left and right. Whether that's going to happen, Harley Quinn, all those things.
Apparently, Margot Robbie pitched that. So that's pretty exciting that she wants to play that part.
She pitched an she said, she's quoted as saying, I pitched the idea of an R-rated girl gang film, including Harley, because I was like, Harley needs friends. Harley loves interacting with people, so don't ever make her do a standalone film. She's got to be with other people. It should be a girl gang. I wasn't seeing enough girl gangs on screen, especially in the action space, so that's always been a part of it. There's also talking about a female director. She says, then, of course, having a female director to tell that story and giving a female director the chance to do big budget stuff, they always get this, here's this tiny little film. And I was like, I love action films. I'm a girl. What are we meant to only like a specific thing? So it's hugely important to find a female director for this if possible. But at the end of the day, male, female, the best director gets a job. And Kathy was the best director. So what they've talked about is Kathy Yan has been picked to helm that movie. And will also be written by the same person who wrote Bumblebee and is working on the Batgirl movie has also written the Birds of Prey treatment as well. So that ought to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. So now it's Birds of Prey is now on the front burner, and the other DC movies, a Harley standalone movie, if that were to happen, Harley versus Joker, stuff like that, has all gone on to the back burner. So, interestingly enough, like I said, DC just can't quite figure out what it wants to do.
Kind of sounds like it based on what they're also doing with their comics.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about this because people are ticked right now.
And I get that.
So 2011-ish, DC, when they launched Rebirth, said drawing the line at $2.99. $2.99 is going to be the price of the book.
Even had a really fancy picture too.
It did.
Who do you think drew that?
That drawing the line at $2.99.
No, the background.
Oh, that artwork. Oh, that looks like Jim Lee all day.
There you go.
But
right click, save as. You have Jim Lee art now.
yeah, that may be the only way I get Jim Lee art. So drawing the line at $2.99. So everything was going to be $2.99. All the books are going to be $2.99. Well, Marvel a long time ago went to $3.99, and DC has stayed at $2.99. Well, now that all the Rebirth stuff is kind of wrapped up and things like that, they are, they have now raised their prices to $3.99, and people are mad for a couple reasons. One, Marvel is $3.99, but you get a code for a digital copy.
Correct.
Which is awesome.
You do have to peel it, like, you open up your book and you have to peel the little tab off of it, kind of like you used to have to do Whataburger cups. I guess you still do that whenever they do their promotions, but the same kind of deal. The Monopoly thing.
I go McDonald's Monopoly. Yeah.
Same kind of deal.
That was always so exciting. You're like, I need Boardwalk. That might be our title, actually.
I need Boardwalk.
I need Boardwalk.
There you go.
So, in addition to that, DC is the only one that drops bi-monthly for some titles. So Batman drops twice. Superman drops twice. Wonder Woman drops twice a month. So instead of spending $2.99 times one, you're now, or times two, now you're spending $3.99 times two, which doesn't seem like a lot if you think about it, like $2, whatever. But for people who are pulling 5 or 6 books every new comic book day, that adds up.
I mean, I feel like I pull maybe 4 or 5 books per month at the very least, and so it usually works out to be 1 or 2 per week. So
I need to go by Impulse Bad. Dan from Impulse shared our link that we
yes,
were
thank
live,
you,
so thanks,
thank
Dan.
you. That was awesome.
I'm sorry I haven't picked up my stuff. He's even holding an Action 1000 poster for me.
Oh wow!
And I need to go get it.
I've got the Action 1000
Yeah.
book somewhere up there. I need to go get it too.
They did a 27 by 40 poster of Action 1000 that has all 1000 covers on it.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so
that's awesome.
I wasn't able to go to the midnight release for Action 1000. I wasn't in town, and so
I was in town. I just couldn't go. I was asleep.
So people are pretty ticked about this whole thing with DC and them going to $3.99, and it will be worth watching if maybe DC says something about maybe doing digital codes or something like that.
Because I think if they bring the digital code, I think the animosity goes away.
I think it at least goes away a little bit. The thing is, though, even the digital versions are going up to $3, which I think is dumb. Like,
that does seem. I mean, it's just like digital DVDs, movies. Once you and I talked about it, and I realized, like, wow, I'm really not getting a deal. I am getting it earlier, and I don't have to go anywhere, but kind of getting hosed because I'm paying the same price I could have both.
So it's going to be something worth talking about, because what DC is up to in terms of their comics, like, you want to be on that DC train right now. With No Justice and all this other stuff that's going on. Like, if you haven't read Dark Knight's Metal, you need to go through and read that, because Dark Knight's Metal is setting up everything that's coming with the DCU. Like, everything was set up by Dark Knight's Metal, what happened in the last few pages of the last issue. Now, it's not a big run. I think it's 6 issues.
Something like that.
And it is absolutely bonkers and amazing. Like, Joker dragons. Do I need to say anything else? And it is absolutely bonkers and a lot of fun. But what it does for the DC universe, like, it really sets things up moving forward, and it is worth a read for sure, especially with what they have coming. And that we'll talk about a little bit more about that next week.
Okay.
In other comic book news, let's roll over to Marvel. Avengers Infinity War isn't the only thing that's making a big dollars right now. Amazing Spider-Man 800 has broken 450,000 pre-orders. It is the last issue of writer Dan Slott's run on Amazing Spider-Man, so that he's moving on to do something else. Stuart Immonen is the one who did the artwork on it, but 450,000 is, I mean, that's like 90s numbers. Like, that's big numbers, and so It's the conclusion of the Go Down Swinging storyline, which pits Spider-Man versus Red Goblin, which is kind of a symbiote Norman Osborn. And it seems like it is absolutely going to go crazy, similar to like Action 1000, things like that. So, of course, there'll be a bajillion variant covers. Like, that's just what's going to happen.
That's kind of the new thing, it seems like.
Yeah. And so a lot of the comic book stores have said, we're seeing increased numbers for previous issues like 798, 799, and people asking for specific runs on, or specific covers for number 1000. Now they're talking about, Amazing Spider-Man 700, which, it's 100 issues. Like, you think one issue a month, that's a long time ago. Like, they're still selling for a regular cover is $25. For the variants, anywhere from $50 to $1,500 for a variant of Amazing Spider-Man 700.
I don't doubt that. Because did they do the 700 all the way across the cover on that? I'm not familiar with what it looks like.
I don't know. I assume they probably did.
Because I know like 300 they did that.
Yeah. Well, they said what's interesting that you mentioned that is in this article, this is on comicbook.com, Wonderworld Comics, Dennis Barger for Wonderworld Comics is quoted as saying, "We're selling lots of issues of 400, 500, 600, 700. Of course, with Venom movie looming, our demand for number 300 has quadrupled."
Yeah. It's a good-looking cover, too.
It's an amazing... That has been copied multiple times on both the Marvel and DC side.
Yeah,
like,
and like Marvel even redid it with Spider-Gwen. I want to say it was like episode... I want to say it was number 3, but it may not have been.
Yeah.
Might have been number 30 or something. But either way, they've done it. So it's a very common cover now.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man was the original. And it's an impressive cover.
It is indeed. Also impressive is what Avengers Infinity War did in China. Only made a whopping $76 million on opening day.
Oh, is that it?
Is that all? They said with such a strong opening in China, it is much more likely that the movie is going to break $2 billion worldwide.
Gosh, that's nuts.
Yeah.
How much did the movie cost?
They said let's just call it 400. I mean...
Yeah, they're not hurting right now at Marvel.
Yep. So as of Wednesday of this past week, at the end of Wednesday, the movie had made $479 million in North America, $772 million overseas. So it's already at $1.2 billion. Now, the only thing that could spell doom for this could be next week we've got Deadpool 2. And the week after that, you've got Solo, which is absolutely going to draw viewers straight away from Infinity War.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the same type. So maybe it breaks 2 billion. Like, it's the best shot. I don't know that anything has ever done that. I don't know if even Avatar did that.
I don't know.
So, yeah, it's going to be something. I am very excited for Deadpool this weekend or this coming week. They're talking about some of the early reviews.
Is that a Wednesday or a Thursday?
Thursday, I believe.
Okay.
Some of the early reviews are better than Infinity War. Like,
really?
Well, it's.
I guess you got to consider the source.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, that could have been Ryan Reynolds, but like, it's better than Infinity War.
Yeah.
What's funny is
it probably was Ryan Reynolds.
Well, what's funny is there was the piece of paper that the Russo brothers put out that basically said, "Don't spoil anything," that type of thing. Thanos demands your silence or something like that.
Yeah.
So then there was a Deadpool. So Ryan Reynolds posted something about Deadpool or whatever, making fun of it or saying something. And the Russo brothers just responded on Twitter with a picture of a lit up Infinity Gauntlet giving Ryan Reynolds the middle finger. So,
yeah. Well, and I heard that they cut a post-credit scene because it was too dark even by Deadpool standards.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't have time to read it. I just saw it it was like comicbook.com or something.
What I find funny about Deadpool is,
could be a ploy.
What I find funny about Deadpool is the only movie that can make you try and double dip on the Blu-ray, but it's like 2-year anniversary edition.
And that's a commercial they're going to have.
Oh, here's the thing. That book, that exists. I saw it in Best Buy this week.
Oh, my gosh.
The 2-year anniversary edition of Deadpool.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And so...
That's such a... Deadpool's one of those characters that if it wasn't Ryan Reynolds playing it, I don't know that it works.
It doesn't. It doesn't without him.
Because
he's a real life Wade Wilson.
yeah, well, I mean, just his sarcasm naturally, you know, I don't know that it work. I don't think it could work, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just don't see how it works because even like in his real life, he constantly jabs at his wife and vice versa. Like they go back and forth. And like, you know, he'll show pictures of all three of them or all four of them, you know, his kids and him and Blake, and he'll go, the people I love most in the world, and then there's Blake. You know, and it's just like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
there's a thing where like she unfollowed him on Instagram or something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, and he just is, I think he's just naturally funny. Like he strikes me as a highly intelligent person that knows how to manipulate people's moods for the better, obviously.
That's the thing. Like, can you think of anybody else?
No.
Who could play him?
No, I really can't.
Like,
I mean,
you look at someone like Superman or Batman or anybody else, like even Wolverine, for example. Like, could there be other people who play him? Yes. Like,
but I don't think you sell the character the way that he does.
I don't either.
I mean, because like you saw a taste, and this is a real deep cut here, but you saw a taste of Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds in Blade 3. Because if you think back to when Ryan Reynolds is in Blade 3 and the amount of sarcasm that he has and things that he says, well, that's a glimpse of Deadpool.
I'm fairly certain that's what led to X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I'm sure.
Which most people do not consider that ever existed.
Yeah.
Like that movie was never made. And
it was not very good.
The CGI claws are what killed it.
Yes.
Like when he like takes the whatever off the sink, like with his claws or something like that, and the claws are so, like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But it is he's really like he is that character. When he decides to not play Deadpool anymore, I don't know who you put in that suit.
I don't think you could. I really don't.
A new comedian would have to come up, a new actor that has that same kind of sensibility to play him, and I just don't think it's there. Like it's got to be.
I think you could. I think if you did, so how Deadpool is this to basically say, in order to do a Deadpool that's not Ryan Reynolds, it has to be like someone that is so clearly not Ryan Reynolds but funny, that it's almost making fun of the character, like somebody that's not physically fit like he is, and is humorous all the time. And there's one, it's the guy from Ant-Man that I think could pull it off.
Paul Rudd?
No, not Paul Rudd. His sidekick, I can't think of his name. The guy that's always like, and so I talked to my cousin, and then my cousin talked to this person, that guy. Him? I don't know what his name is, but and I don't know that he's not physically fit. I just know that he's such that same type of
I could see a similar humor style.
I could see him playing Deadpool.
Yeah.
And just being him and it working.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. I think and that would be something.
I don't think it would be as good, but I think it could work.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. Something else is going on in the Marvel Universe right now, which is frankly just a little bit crazy, is somebody stole the original Iron Man suit.
Guys, it doesn't fly. It's a prop.
So LAPD has revealed they are investigating the disappearance of the Iron Man suit from a warehouse in California. The suit was worn in Iron Man 1, and basically, if you think about it, it is the suit that launched that whole Marvel universe. So there's an article on comicbook.com. Suit's value, $325,000.
No big deal.
And seemingly vanished from a prop warehouse sometime between February and late April.
It's crazy.
So somebody wasn't watching the cameras that day. They probably went and saw Avengers Infinity War. Sorry, we don't have security guards today. Everyone's watching Avengers.
My thing is, what are you going to do with that? You put it on eBay, you're busted.
You put it anywhere, you're busted.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you announce to anybody other than your closest friends that won't ever rat you out.
Even then,
you're busted.
Like if Disney
if they start
puts out a
reward,
your friends are going to rat you out.
Yeah, true. No honor amongst thieves, right?
I mean,
but why? Why? I mean, I get the desire to collect it. I do get that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
but past that, why?
It's grand larceny for sure.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is it reminds me of the guy that stole the Tom Brady Super Bowl jersey.
True.
How on earth did you think you were ever going to get away with it? Like, because you can't ever show it to anybody,
and you can't sell it.
And what is the point of? I mean, I understand, like, I've been described as my art collecting and things like that is because I do. It's not so much that I enjoy the art, and I really do enjoy the art. It's I like owning things so other people can't. That is how I've been described. Which, if you think about it,
he treats artwork like Pokemon.
it is not.
He's gotta catch
have
them all.
Gotta catch them all. It is not entirely. It's not entirely. Yeah, it's a fairly decent explanation because I do collect things that there are only one of.
I get that, and I don't know that many collectors are different. I think the difference is the price point.
Well,
because when you're talking a one of one, it's always going to be expensive.
Well, yes and no. I mean, some artwork. I mean, you can get comic book art for less than $100 a page. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I don't know.
But the thing is, like, to that point, like, I get the fascination with owning something like that, but as a collector, the best part of it is being able to share it with people, and you can't do that.
True.
Like if you have that suit,
especially if you have that suit. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it from the like collecting it so nobody can have it because I mean, this is kind of an aside from kind of what we're talking about, but one of the nerdy things that I am nerdy about is import cars. Like my car, I'm slowly putting it back together. The set of wheels that I have mean nothing to you or to probably 90% of the people that are into the import stuff right now. But in the year 2000s, they were a big deal. 2 reasons. 1, they were very hard to find. And 2, the specific ones that I have are from a group that kind of pushed everybody to the next level. And I have them. Nobody else will ever have them because I will not sell them.
Yeah.
I don't care if they will never work on my car again. They will not get sold.
Yeah.
And it's just because I have a piece of that history. It's the same idea.
It is, yeah, a piece of history.
Same idea.
Now, here's the funny part. Could said person get away with it if they wore the suit as cosplay?
Absolutely.
Like, they
Absolutely.
go to a con, they wear
Yeah.
or they're outside the Chinese theater in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, you take a picture with Iron Man for $5 or whatever.
Unless there's some sort of identification to it
They could
that
think,
somebody
like,
would be able
wow,
to
that is a
identify
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody would have to be able to identify like that is the prop that I made.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're getting caught.
Yeah.
If you're wearing it like that.
So
you think it's a cosplayer that just didn't want to make the costume? What you're saying.
I'm just saying LAPD should be combing the floor of San Diego Comic-Con here in a couple months.
You think it's got like a stamp on the inside made at Marvel?
Does it
have a tag?
Well, you laugh about that. It probably has a tag that indicates it isn't like a Robert Downey Jr. screen suit, like a hero suit, because a lot of those are tagged that way. But yeah, I would be shocked. Like somebody.
So do you think at like San Diego Comic-Con this year, nobody's Iron Man?
At
At least not in the suit.
Not in that suit.
They're in the hoodie.
It's not me. It's not me.
They're in the new hoodie.
Yeah, and so that's the interesting part. So no, they don't know obviously much about it. They don't know how long it's been gone.
We'll have to look at Denver whenever we go and just start stopping people that are Iron Man. Be like, sir, need to see if this is a hero suit.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody stole it and sold it, like there are less than reputable overseas collectors who would take it and pay for it, and then it wouldn't matter. Like it's gone. Like it's the same.
Of course, it could be on the dark web. We don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's the same thing about. I mean, if you think about it, it is really no different than like the ancient antiquities or whatever that like Hobby Lobby was buying on the black market. So they wouldn't.
That is such a weird thing,
isn't it? Like
they're so high and mighty, and then they commit a crime like that. It's just crazy.
I mean, it was a crime with a cause. Like they didn't want. It was important enough that they didn't want to get. They didn't want those to get into the wrong hands. But I mean, you're Hobby Lobby.
This is my whatever face.
Yeah. So.
A crime is a crime is a crime. I mean, I get that sometimes you got to do the wrong thing for the right reasons. I get that, but
yeah.
It's just the irony of Hobby Lobby getting in trouble for that
is the best part. Like that is
it's
absolutely
just funny.
the best part,
especially considering what they were in the news for prior to that.
Exactly. here's a another example of how the internet is scary. Completely on a complete aside.
Oh, it's terrifying.
We're about to talk about an article talking about some television and the TV things got whatever on the site got canceled and renewed. There's an ad on the side of the article. Try new Canada Dry ginger ale and lemonade. I have in my hand right now.
We are not paid by them, but
We
hey,
are not.
if you want to pay us, by all means.
But I will say that Canada Dry with lemonade is really good. Like, it's solid.
Is
But
it ginger ale?
It's ginger ale and lemonade.
I don't know that I like that.
It is so good.
No, I don't know that I like ginger ale.
Ginger ale is amazing.
I guess. I don't know.
I have an opinion on ginger ale that I really can't share. I mean, I kind of could. So ginger ale obviously is to help, if you get sick, stuff like that, because ginger is a natural anti-nausea thing. It really is. I
Yeah,
mean,
but you have to taste the ginger.
it's not horrendously bad. So if you like the taste of ginger ale, as I say, this is still family friendly. Ginger ale is the only thing that tastes the same coming down and coming up. So
Fair enough.
So-
So what are you saying? Are you contaminating me right now?
no, I'm not
Okay.
saying no.
Because I just got over strep throat, and I really don't
No.
want to
I just like
be sick.
I just like ginger ale. I just
Okay.
like drinking
All
it.
right.
So
all right. Come in here in a hazmat suit from now on.
yeah. So yeah, there's a free ad for you, Canada Dry. Send me a case of Canada
A
Dry
bajillion dollars, please. Forget the
ginger ale
case.
and lemonade.
Our reach is like 100 people.
The downside is it doesn't come in a 24 pack yet, only a 12 pack.
It doesn't come in a 24-pack in America.
That's-
in Canada, you don't. It might come by the keg.
That's true.
You never know.
By the keg. You
It definitely comes in liters.
you walk into the liquor store like, I need a keg of this, a keg of that, and a keg of Canada Dry and lemonade.
Well, you wouldn't have to walk in the liquor store to get pop.
Well, you figure kegs though, like.
Well,
Um,
it's Canada. Who knows what happens up there?
Budweiser's doing some stuff too with some new. They have a new take on Blue Moon and on their version of Blue Moon and this red lager thing based on a George Washington beer recipe. I've yet to try it.
Let me know how that is, because I won't be drinking it.
Yeah, I want to. But I don't. So let's get back to TV. So there is a show on Fox that we referenced many times.
And I've still never seen it.
In our Xbox group, we can't really talk about why. If you watch the show, it won't be hard to figure out. But that show is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, it is a great show. It is funny, and Fox decided to cancel it, and the internet exploded in so many ways, and so. It stars Andy Samberg, Terry Crews, who we love Terry Crews. And the internet explodes, including one Mark Hamill. It says, Mark Hamill tweets, oh no, I'm so not ready to say bye-bye 9-9. Be forewarned at Fox TV. When networks dump shows I love, I'm known for holding grudges a long time. I'm still mad at CBS did renew Square Pegs. Hashtag everything I like gets canceled. So Terry Crews is thanking Mark Hamill for bringing Brooklyn Nine-Nine back because after Fox cancels it, NBC swoops in and says, we'll take it. Now Hulu, which is owned primarily by NBC Universal, has the streaming rights for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And so NBC swooped in and renewed it for a 13-episode 6th season. So it
Very
does
cool,
not surprise me, considering Andy Samberg is of SNL fame.
Correct.
Started on NBC, bringing him back. I mean, this could be something like a 30 Rock type thing.
Yeah.
If they bring him back. And so that is amazing. I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is... That's the thing. Andy Samberg humor is interesting humor. Like, it's, he does Lonely Island and, stuff like that. But that show, just the whole cast, is exceedingly funny. And, Captain Holt is one of my favorites just because he's the absolute, the driest sense of humor ever. He reminds me a lot of Church in terms of, that kind of sense of humor. You never quite, you typically know when he's joking, but...
I fall for almost every joke that he says.
Yeah.
I really cannot discern whether he's being sincere or not. He gets me every time, and I hate it.
That's true.
Because he'll have me going, and then all of a sudden, no, that didn't happen. I'm like, man, oh my gosh.
Come on. But he, yeah. So, yeah, obviously Church is not with us this week. We'll see him
Yeah.
assume.
It's a crazy time of the year.
It's a crazy, yeah. I mean, there's Mother's Day and Happy Birthday, Joni.
Yeah, it's
and
tomorrow.
Happy
Yeah.
Birthday, Joni, and things like that going on right now. So,
And it's the end of school for me and
yeah,
my wife, and it's holy smokes, it's crazy.
it's a little crazy. And then, I mean, here's the thing: we're a month from Denver. Like, we're
Yeah.
about a month away.
Yeah.
So that is. That's exciting. I'm ready to go.
It is. Yeah,
to Denver
for
and
sure.
have some fun and talk to some people. Liv is going to be at Denver again, as
Sweet.
we said before.
Sweet.
She has a new podcast that she's doing right now.
Yeah, she also re-released her book.
She
like,
rewrote it.
Yeah, so I have the digital copy now.
Of the new version?
Yeah, because it
Okay.
was when the day that she announced that she rewrote it. If you had I don't know if you had purchased the book or not, but nevertheless, it was free on Amazon, and so I got
Okay.
it, and it was free for like 12 hours.
Got it.
So
Interesting.
yeah,
So she's also doing a podcast, something about living, like millennials living their way, something along those lines, which is funny considering I
bash on
millennials a little bit.
Yeah.
And not with malice, just with
Hate.
let the hate flow through you. No, just with I just don't understand, and because I'm old. But
Do you think we fit into that Will Smith song now as the parents?
parents just don't
Yeah,
understand.
man. Like that's us now. We're old.
We're old.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I don't know, but let's talk about Will Smith because something that he did a long time ago is coming back, and I'm fairly excited about this because these movies are
pumped.
exciting.
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys 3.
Wait.
January,
It's got to be at a high school reunion or something. It has
January
to be.
2020 is what they've said. Now, it has gone back and forth on and off it's been greenlit and shelved multiple times, but now they're talking about, oh, that's me.
Epic fail.
Yep. Hey, tech people, if you're listening, there is a really amazing new feature in Chrome right now, which I didn't have turned on for this
I need to
particular site.
remember that. Yeah.
You can right-click now and you can mute sites. So Chrome, like you don't have to mute your total computer. You can just mute Chrome by tab by site. So that's pretty awesome. I didn't have that tab muted or that site muted. So
Clearly.
yeah. So it's
Bad
being
Boys for Life, huh?
Bad Boys for Life being released January 17th, 2020.
I guess Martin Lawrence is coming back.
Martin Lawrence is also coming back. This will be directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah, who are, I guess, they're Moroccan-born Belgians. I don't know how that works.
Well, I guess if you're born in Morocco and then you
To
become
Belgian
a
parents?
citizen,
would that be
I don't know.
Moroccan? I don't know. This is interesting. But
Yeah, I guess maybe their parents are Belgian and they were born in Morocco.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
and so they are. They do like. They said they have a history of basically like gritty action hits, including Broders in 2011, Black in 2015, and Gangsta in 2018. That's Gangsta with an A. And so,
Street cred.
yeah, street cred. There's my street cred right there.
The fact that you had to clarify is hilarious. That is gangster with an A.
That is Gangsta with an A. So it's like, what was it with a Z? What was it?
I don't even
I
remember
remember.
now.
It's-
It's a title to one of the things.
Yeah, I remember.
Threads with a Z.
Threads with a Z. Yeah. God, that was like 2 episodes ago, and we can't remember it.
It's because we're old, man.
It's
Parents
true.
just don't
Parents
understand.
just don't understand. So yeah, they're both coming back to that. That first movie was 1995.
Yeah. When you watch it, you understand it was 1995, but it still holds up. It's so good.
And the funny thing is, like, if you think about it, that was the first like big. Was that the first big movie Will Smith did? Is that what started him Hollywood wise? I think it is.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
that was Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
was
Yeah, you're probably
right after Fresh Prince.
Because then after
so-
that, it was Independence Day, and then he was done. Like he was
Yeah.
launched at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. It's
Yeah.
so good, though.
it is.
I mean, like I said, even to this day, you watch Bad Boys 1, it still holds up.
Bad Boys 2 still holds up, I think.
Oh, absolutely it does.
So-
Yeah, yeah. It's just more current.
Yeah, every time I see it, the clip they always put on Bad Boys 2 is, I think it's 2, is when the kid comes to pick up Martin Lawrence's daughter for a date. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's like-
yeah,
like,
buddy.
He's not afraid to go back to prison.
Why you got to tell my business in the streets?
And he's not afraid to go back to prison.
I ain't going back to jail. Yeah.
Another movie.
That's funny. I've already told Mitchell we're gonna have to do something like that when
Oh,
Harper
yeah,
goes on her
absolutely.
first date.
The also to movie that's coming out is, so there's been the G.I. Joe movies that have come out. They've been all right, watchable action flicks.
They've not been bad.
Except-
I'll agree.
Now, there's a particular G.I. Joe character who's getting his own movie.
Nice.
That is Snake Eyes.
Yeah, that's cool. Except I don't know how you do that because he doesn't talk.
Bingo.
Yeah. There is that aspect of it. He's taking a vow of silence. So,
That's gonna be. I mean, that's the thing, and
maybe it's just a bunch of people yelling as they run at him for death. Like, ah!
and so
He dices them up and they're done.
the writer of Disney's live action Beauty and the Beast, Evan Spilotopoulos is his name. He's in talks.
That's a good name.
In talks to write a standalone movie for Snake Eyes. Although another site, this is from comicbookmovie.com, the site The Wrap is claiming he's actually working on G.I. Joe 3, but Hollywood Reporter is saying no, he's working on Snake Eyes, and Hollywood Reporter is usually a little
Spot
more
on.
reliable.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about, he never speaks, and we've never seen his face.
Well, no, in the last one
You saw Storm Shadow's face. You didn't see Snake Eyes' face.
Well, but I mean, you know what at least you can kind of guess what he looks like in terms of he was the child in the flashbacks before he took the vow of silence.
Yeah, I mean, he is Storm Shadow's brother.
So,
Spoilers.
Yeah. If you don't know that by now, man, sorry.
But yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You've never seen his face.
You never see his
yeah.
face, and so that's the.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
We need to get Phil's friend,
Yeah, Cobra
Church's
Commander.
friend,
Yeah,
Hooded Cobra
Yeah.
Commander, to chime in on this.
for sure. Check out his YouTube if you want, guys. It's pretty cool if you're
Yep.
into GI Joe stuff. He does in-depth reviews of
Yeah.
almost every things I didn't even know about GI Joe. It's pretty dang cool.
And so, of course, this is early development. They're still writing the script and things like that, so this could fall apart at any
Could he
moment.
use sign language?
Could he use sign language? Maybe the middle finger, like, yeah, I'm watching you. It's like Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
that's true. Let's see.
I don't know. That's kind of exciting. I'd kind of like to see a little bit more of what was that girl's name? The one with the glasses where she would touch him and they'd change. What is her name? I want to say Enchantress, but that's.
You thinking of
that's not it.
Baroness?
Baroness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that character development, because when you first see her as Baroness, you think, okay, she's pretty tough. Like this is gonna be good. But then you see her like when she's not Baroness and she's supposed to be like the loving housewife and all that kind of stuff. So it would just be cool to see more of that, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, obviously they'll put him up against Storm Shadow at some point. Like, if they're gonna do a
Oh, they
Snake
have
Eyes,
to.
They have to.
What if it's like a story before they break apart? That could
be.
work, because
Yeah.
then he would be talking.
You could tell it in flashbacks. Like, that'd be tough though.
Snake Eyes origin story.
Yeah, Snake Eyes Origins. G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes.
There you go.
Like, here we
There you
go.
go. Worked well for Marvel.
Sorta.
No, it didn't at all.
Yeah. So another movie back from our heydays, or whatever, that's coming back, officially confirmed. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Bill and Ted 3 is going to happen.
I'm excited. This is cool.
I am very excited about this. Bill and Ted Face the Music is what the
Working title.
I believe it is a working title right now, and so it is officially in development. 30 years between the last Bill and Ted movie and its upcoming sequel. Obviously, I think Alex Winter's going on. He's wrote some things and did some other stuff. Obviously, Keanu went on to do The Matrix.
Something called The Matrix, yeah.
Something called The
And
Matrix.
John Wick.
John Wick. There's been a couple of pictures that got posted from John Wick 3, like from the set. Yeah, it looks legit.
Here's the thing. I'm telling you, I am 100% sold on Keanu Reeves in any action movie from this point forward after seeing John Wick 1 and then coming across that YouTube video of him running and gunning in a 3-gun competition, practice. The man, he is deadly. I'm just convinced. Maybe the martial arts side of it is scripted and practiced, but his gun skill is unmatched.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of his in John Wick. He did a lot of his own gun stunts and things like that.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing. for
It
sure.
is
And you can tell like John Wick 1 was still a little loosey goosey, right? Like, and then John Wick 2 he refined it
Yeah.
to where it was actually he was flowing how it would flow.
Yeah.
Or how at least I think it would flow. So, anyway.
So what they're talking about is the current synopsis that has been released for Bill and Ted Face the Music. It says, when we last met Bill and Ted, they were time-traveling teenagers trying to pass history class and win the battle of the bands.
Mm-hmm.
Once prophesized to save the universe with their rock and roll, middle age, and responsibilities of family have caught up with these two best friends who have not yet fulfilled their destiny. They've written thousands of tunes but have yet to write a good one, much less the greatest song ever written. With the fabric of time and space tearing around them, a visitor from the future warns our heroes that only their song can save life as we know it. Out of luck and fresh out of inspiration, Bill and Ted set out on a time travel adventure to seek the song that will set the world right and bring harmony in the universe as we know it. Together with the aid of their daughters, a new crop of historical figures, and some sympathetic music legends, Bill and Ted find much, much more than just a song.
The only thing that stinks is George Carlin won't be in it.
They're going to find a way to incorporate
Oh,
him,
I'm
I know.
sure.
Even
I'm
if it's
sure.
just like
a flashback.
Not a flashback as much as it could even be kind of like a voice from beyond thing, because there's so much audio of George Carlin that they could put something together.
True. Or do they Tupac him? You know, like he's a hologram on a stage.
Hologram him. They could. That's true. So the original creators, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, are also on board. They wrote the script. And we talked that Dean Parasot who did Galaxy Quest Red 2, is also confirmed to direct. So
I'm pumped. I'm ready to see it again.
That will be the ultimate test about how much nostalgia can get you in terms of movies. Like,
very true, because that's so nostalgia. I mean,
that is all nostalgia, super niche. Like, here's the thing: like, kids today, they don't even know what Bill and Ted is.
No, they have no idea.
Yeah, they have no idea the awesomeness
it's going to be their parents that are excited
that they're
about
missing.
It.
I mean,
parents just don't understand.
Parents just don't understand. Let's be excellent to each other.
That's right.
Is it excellent to each other or one another? I think it's each other.
I think it's each other.
Yeah, be excellent to each other.
Church would know.
Yeah. So there's our new title. Be excellent to each other. So that is the so that's coming up. So a lot of cool, even though it is existing content, like existing universes, but we're still getting some new stuff, some new content out there movie-wise. So we talked a few weeks ago, Jon Favreau is doing a live-action Star Wars series for Disney's upcoming streaming service. And now we have a few details. So, one, I didn't realize that Favreau is in Solo.
Say that again?
Jon Favreau, Happy from Iron Man, is in Solo. He plays the alien, Rio Durant.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so, he was talking to Nerdist Dan Casey, and he said that his live-action Star Wars series, now you're going to have to help me with timeline-wise, takes place 7 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
What happens after Return of the Jedi? Between Return of the Jedi and, I assume, Force Awakens?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. So you've got kind of the Resistance trying to come back together. Obviously, the Empire has, broken off into little sects trying to manage the control of the universe, which then spawns the First Order.
They say it's approximately 11 ABY, which is after the Battle of Yavin.
Okay.
So 11 years after that. Let's see.
That's interesting. Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
because there's so much. I mean, it's really hard to just narrow down.
Yeah, they're saying
exactly what's happening.
About 6 years after New Republic is officially founded, and that's the development that, like you said, leads to the First Order.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and then you get like the Leia storyline of like Bloodline, how they're following that path through restructuring the Republic and trying to, reorganize and get everything back together. So. I don't know, man. And then Aftermath, that whole series fits in there too, because that's after the after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and also there's the new animated series. I guess Resistance is what's replacing Rebels.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Upcoming anime series Star Wars Resistance is, I believe that is what's coming next, animated wise.
Okay.
So now,
See, so Rebels is prior to New Hope.
okay,
So, yeah, that's interesting. So I wonder if
It
Resistance would be in between maybe A New Hope and Empire Strikes
it
Back.
says it features Leia's Resistance.
Well, then I guess it could be between Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Then
Okay,
could be,
yeah,
because they stopped calling it the Rebels and started calling it the Resistance in the new 3 movies. So yeah, it totally makes sense that it would be either prior to The Force Awakens or after The Force Awakens.
yeah. I mean, it might as well ride that wave as because that's what all the kids have seen now. It's Rey. It's all that.
Yeah.
Granted,
Oh,
you're not
it
gonna
makes
see-
sense for them to totally do that.
to fit
yeah.
in that timeline.
I need them to say Godspeed Rebels
You need
because I need them to say that. That was probably one of the cooler parts of the Rebel Alliance that you'd never seen before.
what's the importance of that phrase?
I think to be honest with you, I don't know, but I just loved it. And so as a fan, I just thought it's a neat way for them to, show respect to each other and kind of, keep them going. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I just thought it was interesting. For me, there's no significance, but I'm sure there probably
There
is.
might be somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're talking about obviously Disney streaming service, so we won't see anything until 2019. But scarily enough, that's about 6-7 months away, 7.5 months away.
It's not far.
Not that far away. So we'll get more into that as we get closer to. Now, last week we went on this little side road as we talking about gun violence and kids and stuff like that. Little did we know that at the time, the yearly annual NRA rally was going on. The annual NRA conference was going on. And the NRA brought out David Grossman, a regular speaker and pro-gun activist, who quickly took aim at, no pun intended, pop culture. Basically saying, and I quote, it is not about the guns. The guns have always been there. It's the sick movies, the sick TV shows, and especially the sick video games around the planet that are creating sick kids. Okay, dude. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about this. Now, Grossman's a former Army Ranger, author of numerous books on violent psychology. I do not know if he is a licensed psychologist.
Probably not.
He is.
I'm just saying probably not because, yeah, probably not.
There wasn't a medical designation after his name.
Yeah.
I will say that. He makes the circuits when it comes to gun violence. Having trained police, this is from a Game Rant article, so I'm quoting this here. He is well known in the discussion of gun violence, having trained police officers to be more willing to use deadly force throughout their careers. It's not the first time he's come after video games in regards to gun violence. He wrote a book in 1999, Stop Teaching Our Kids to Kill, is dedicated completely to the idea. He's quoted as saying, around the planet, children are committing crimes like no one's ever seen before in human history. It's not about the guns. The guns have always been there. It's the sick movies, the sick TV shows, especially the sick video games around the planet that are creating sick kids. Okay.
Well,
we don't need to go down that road again. And
No.
I don't disagree that it's a contributing factor, but it is not the whole story.
no, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Similar to what we talked about last week, it definitely cannot be a one-shot deal. No pun intended. It just
We're good at this.
I know it's terrible. I'm not even trying. You just cannot take a stance that says this is the problem with society. This is an entire societal thing. It's a societal issue. It has to do not only with video, not only with media, not only with TVs and video games.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with value of human life. It has to do with getting away from the 50s and the 60s, where in the most part a lot of people took care of each other.
Yep.
And as a whole,
It's about
we've become
values.
well. And again, I don't think that's the whole part either. I think it's all interconnected. I just think it's easier to blame somebody other than, oh, hey, it's the NRA's fault for being pro-gun, or
Yeah.
oh, hey, it's this point for being, anti-gun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there are a lot of factors that contribute to violence as a whole, but gun violence, there are so many things that are there. And I'm pro Second Amendment. I own firearms. I'm not against it in any way. But I also understand that you have to have reasonable boundaries. You have to be able to be proficient and use it safely, and understand that it is not a toy. And using that firearm is the end result is something is being destroyed, whatever that may, a target or whatever it may be. Something is being destroyed, and understanding the complexity of what that actually means, I would say video games have inhibited that. Because in a video game, just like Destiny 2, we die, we respawn. Oh, okay, everything's good.
Yeah.
Kids get that twisted. Younger kids get that twisted, and they can be confused. But
Yeah,
it always irks me when somebody blames one aspect of society as the reason.
yeah.
I think it's a shame whenever the NRA gets blamed for it too. I mean,
Yeah, it is absolutely. Like, I'm the same thing. I'm pro Second Amendment. I own firearms. Like, it's not a, I believe in responsible use and responsible ownership.
Yeah.
And all of that. So, what I didn't realize at the time is that, our current president has come out making similar statements about violent video games. What I didn't realize he had done is hosted members of the video game industry at the White House to discuss perceived connection and screening a montage of violent video game clips. So I didn't realize that had ever happened. So
was that like his mic drop moment?
I don't know, I guess.
Here's the thing.
What drives me more crazy is the fact that they don't have White House capitalized in this article.
True.
So
true. It's a White House, not the White House.
Yeah, at the White House.
Yeah.
Not his White House. Just
it was just one they found on the road and they
yeah.
met. Yeah. It just had to be a white house.
Yep.
Couldn't be a purple house. It had to be a white house.
Well, they also talked about this article talking about video game addiction, things like that. Even to the point that you'll appreciate this. David Price, have you heard this story? So David Price, I believe he plays for Boston, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Suffering from
he's a pitcher.
Suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, he's a pitcher.
Has said that he's going to. Well, it is not the cause of his carpal tunnel. He's going to stop playing Fortnite while he recovers.
There is a video of Major League Baseball players playing Fortnite in the stadium before fans get there on the jumbo screen.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's awesome.
So
yeah, they play in the locker rooms and everything. But
yeah, he said he won't play in the locker rooms, won't be a distraction. He won't play the game while he's recovering. And having suffered from carpal tunnel syndrome, depending on what his particular symptoms are, that's going to be a real pain.
Well, you have to remember he's also a pitcher, so. I mean, it's equivalent to what you do on a daily basis with your hands in terms of repetitive motion and necessity for grip and that kind of thing.
Well, if you think about it too, like the obvious recovery for carpal tunnel is to have it released, is to have the release or whatever. But for a pitcher, that is a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
God, we are on a roll.
We're crushing it.
Is because your hand operates completely differently after surgery than before.
Mm-hmm.
And for a pitcher whose whole thing is about touch and feel and spin and this and that, like he would be down for the season probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's I imagine it's probably equivalent to a Tommy John.
Yeah, just because I remember after I had my surgery done, like, because the way is like the carpal tunnel thing, like you have this nerve and it goes through like this channel, the carpal tunnel. And if it's compressed, as you start getting like numbness and things like that, and they go through and there's a surgery, it takes all of 7 minutes for a long one, because I had it done, is they cut a tiny little hole in your wrist. They go in laparoscopically. Sometimes some people do a longer incision on your palm, and they literally just open that tunnel. They have this little tool. They go in and they just open it where it's compressed, and then basically scar tissue forms over it, and that channel is now larger. But as you're pulling your hand together at that point, things are moving differently in your hand, like your tendons and things like that, because it's not all the same anymore. And it feels bizarre.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
And you kind of get used to it after a while. But the scariest thing is after I had mine done is, they nerve block your hand, which is always a risk regardless. Mm-hmm. Is like after surgery, I'm sitting there and I'm doing like this here. I'm just, the camera can actually see. And I'm just like, it's like Kill Bill, like wiggle your big toe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, move your hand. And I can't move my hand. And the last thing the nurse said before I left surgery, because it's an outpatient thing, like you're in it if you're the first appointment, you're usually out by lunch. She says, if by tomorrow morning you still can't move your hand, call us and let us know. Like, what? And so, but by about midnight that night, I could start to, because it's basically like super Novocaine. It was like my pinky was the first one. I was like, I can move my pinky.
It's the smallest finger.
And then it's the most useless one. And then I went to other finger, and so by the time I got to the thumb, I felt much better about it. But it's a little frightening when you have that and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, especially for you because it was your dominant hand, right?
No, I am. Well, yes and no. Like I am left-handed, but I am left-handed naturally in terms of writing and like stuff like that. But I am right-hand dominant, if that makes sense.
Like, so like you use a mouse with the right hand.
I use a mouse with the right hand, throw with my right hand, stuff like that. So it was a little so it was my left hand, so I couldn't write. But who writes anymore? And so I don't. Well, here's the thing. That's not true. I do some, but it was.
I don't write a lot, but I do.
I don't. Yeah. So it was. So yeah, I understand why he wouldn't. He may not want the traditional. The traditional surgery, recovery there. For all the things that we have hated about Destiny 2, there have been several.
Oh yeah, tons. However, I do like their new method of letting me infuse like a lower light level item to like bump my light level way up. It's pretty cool.
It works. So Destiny 2 DLC dropped this week called Warmind. We won't go too much into it, but two things have happened this week. The raid dropped, which, holy smokes, like, Bungie said, days like today happen when you say a game is too easy, because the raid was insane. But the thing we love about the Destiny community as a whole is Destiny has always been about puzzles, like, all these little things. And in the
I just spoiled something for myself by reading this article because I'm not done with the storyline yet.
You're fine. So in the final room of the single player campaign, somebody found this symbol on the wall. And then they found the corresponding symbols throughout the maps and things like that. Well, it was a puzzle like Destiny of old. Like, this is how you get an exotic weapon or things like that. Now, there's a particular weapon in Destiny 2, Valkyrie. It is a spear that is incredibly powerful, and it is awesome. So Vicarious Visions was the company who developed the DLC for Destiny 2. It wasn't Bungie, it was Vicarious Visions. And they created real-life Valkyries. 3 of them. One is at Vicarious Visions, one is at Bungie, and the other was tied to this puzzle. So there's a whole Reddit community that tries to break this stuff down. Mm-hmm. They figure out this puzzle. They get all the way down, and at the end of it, there is a set of coordinates. Those coordinates are in Sarasota County, New York, where Vicarious Visions is based, and in the middle of a park, or looks like some sort of outside, like maybe a forest, something like that, underneath a tree and some debris is a black tube. And said black tube is a real-life Valkyrie found by a user,
happened to be near the coordinates.
Happened to be near the coordinates. His Reddit handle was I_love_science. He was close. He's like, I'm in Saratoga County. Took a picture. He found this cache. Not only is there a Valkyrie there, there's also a box of gold coins. And it says, you likely didn't do this alone. Just take one. And he left the box behind. He's like, make sure you seal it back up, whatever. It is just...
It's cool.
A cool thing. It says, the note says, from Vicarious Visions, It says, "Congratulations for all your hard efforts. We reward you with this very unique Valkyrie. We recommend you hang it on a wall as it's a great conversation starter or for killing hive worms that may trouble your neighborhood. There are only 3 like it in the world. The first sits at the studio, Vicarious Visions, who developed Warmind. The second at Bungie, our gift to them for letting us become part of their franchise. And the third now belongs to you. We'd like to thank you for your time, effort, and passion to this game. We also assume you may not have pieced this together all by yourself. Since we cannot create a relic for the entire group, we ask that you share this discovery with them. We encourage you to share this discovery on the social media of your choice as well. We won't know when this is found, and we would like to know if the community likes this type of thing. If you do, hey, maybe there's more of it. As fans of the franchise for years, Vicarious Visions was very excited to make PC Destiny 2. We then went to create Warmind expansion. We hope you enjoyed the story, weapons, characters, destination, and Zal as much as we love making them. While you may take the large container with you, underneath the first large container, you should find a smaller one. This container is for all the people who came after you, so you make sure to leave it behind and properly sealed to keep the elements at bay. Please take a look inside. If you traveled here with a group, they are entitled to 1 each. We ask that you write in the journal your thoughts to us about the whole experience with this puzzle, even your thoughts on the game of Destiny, Bungie, and Vicarious Visions. We hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for your passion drive for this game. Rob Gallerani, design lead for Destiny 2 Warmind."
Very cool.
So, and the picture of it, there's a great article on Kotaku that has it like, that thing looks like it's 6 or 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like, it looks fairly big.
5.5 maybe. Yeah. It's up there for sure.
Yeah, and it is detailed. Like, it is awesome looking.
Yeah. It's hard to really get scale from
Yeah.
the picture, but you got to figure that's pretty big.
So, because Destiny's always been about puzzles. Like, Destiny 1 was about puzzles and finding stuff. And so it's good that they're getting back to this.
Mm-hmm.
The Destiny 2 raid also dropped last night, or on Friday, which was Friday at noon.
It's
a new raid layer, yeah.
Raid layer.
Yeah,
Okay.
which the thing is that raid layer took 6 hours to get through.
So
and I watched it. It's insane. I mean,
in order to do the raid layer, do you have to go through the raid like you normally would just to get to that, or what?
No, it's separate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But when you watch some of the best teams in the world go through this, and
it takes them 6 hours.
6 hours.
It's crazy.
For the best teams in the world.
We spent 4.5 hours and only got to the second
phase of Vault of Glass before we met.
No. I'm talking about the new raid.
Oh yeah. But we also
Vault of Glass was also a sad day.
Yeah. Well, we got through Vault of Glass.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
We so I was watching Gathalion, which is also plays Sea of Thieves, stuff like that. I've talked about it many times. It was really fascinating to watch them break down a room. Like, okay, like we walk into this room, like, all right, there's 2 side rooms. They're this color and this color. There are these pedestals. There's these things. They have these symbols on them. Let's try this. Let's try that. You know, all this stuff. Like the strategy behind them. Like breaking down that room, and Gathalion was on this morning. He said, "I will never say that we have the best Destiny team in the world." He's like, "I will fight anybody that says we don't have the smartest Destiny team in the world." Mm-hmm. They were not the first to finish; they were second. But the mechanics of it and everything, stuff we would never think of, like those glowing orbs that you have, like that you would slam down or whatever. No, you throw them to your teammates, like football style. Yeah.
Wow.
It is insane.
Yeah.
And so it
because that was the thing that hung us up when we were trying to do the raid was those dogs.
The dogs.
And the orbs and
yeah. The fact is, like, Destiny 2's had a lot of flack recently, and the general consensus is this is a step in the right direction, but what's coming in September, which is the big DLC, like Taken King like DLC, is going to be the thing that is going to fix Destiny.
It better be.
Now the grind is back. Let me tell you, this game is not for casuals anymore. It is hard. It is difficult. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not getting everything done on a Tuesday night anymore.
Yeah,
like,
no, that was the thing. Is like when Destiny 2 came out, we were knocking pretty much 80% to almost all of it out in a night. Even if I got online at like 8 o'clock or 8:15, I was knocking most of it out by 10 and going to bed. And that was it got old pretty quick, because it's like I didn't pay for this game to be able to do everything I can for a week in 2 hours.
Yep.
I'm not good. Like, I mean, that's the thing. You know, we changed our clan name to not safe for walls because I shoot more walls than I shoot anything else. As do many of the other people, and you know, that's just how it is. You know, I'm not a strong player in some regards, probably more than not. But just to be able to knock it out in 2-3 hours total, it's like that was lame.
Yeah.
You know, I'm at the point now where I can't proceed any further until I get some stuff done.
Now you got to grind.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's there is potential hope for Destiny.
That's good. I'm excited. I don't want Destiny to go away.
Yeah.
But there for a while, I didn't even touch it. I didn't play Xbox for a good while.
But also coming a couple weeks too is, I know you're not playing this anymore, is Hungering Deep expansion, free DLC for Sea of Thieves. Which is going to be, they're also going to have basically like weekly challenges like Destiny does. Yeah. To go do this or whatever. Yeah. So that's going to be fun to go out and do that. So
yeah, no, I don't. I couldn't get on board.
Well, you're so good at this.
Couldn't get on board with Sea of Thieves.
Honestly, I think the title for the episode is actually going to be No Pun Intended.
There you go, because we're just slaying them right now.
But yeah, so it's exciting. You know, we'll see what happens with that.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll you know, you might see us on there on Twitch or stuff like that. If you do see us on there, keep in mind that our Twitch stream is typically not family friendly.
Yeah. It's usually just him talking to himself anyway.
That's true. Cursing at myself. Beep, 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 beep. That's all you're going to hear. So, all right. Well, I think this is going to wrap up 86.
Think so.
For Gather the Nerds. Again, happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Absolutely.
You know, happy birthday to Joni. And then, you know, find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are pretty much everywhere. We're like, is it AT&T everywhere you want to be? Was that their old slogan? Everywhere
like
you want to
that.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're everywhere you want to be. So we'll get that. You know, we'll start kind of lining up our Denver plans here shortly in terms of what we're going to try and accomplish there. And maybe we'll do a crossover episode with Liv and see if we can find a place to do an actual long recording. But until next week, I think, we're back. Yeah, we're on next week. But until then, this has been episode 86. No pun intended.
There you go.
I'm Kev. That's Nick.
See ya.
See you guys. Bye.
That's funny. We were crushing those puns.
Yep.